previously fallow. Okay, so getting back to grass and hay and straw. On law folds, I was feeding the cows while it was raining. I could run a bale of straw across the open area to the cowshed and drop the straw in and it would not decay. I took a bale of hay and stuck it into the TMR mixer, and by the time I got to adding the straw, the hay had decayed somewhat because it was raining on it. And then as soon as I put the silage, as soon as it was what's classed as forage, which is basically a mixture of hay, straw and silage that doesn't make TMR. So for example, one bale of hay, one bale of straw doesn't make TMR, but it's classed as forage, a forage mix, and so rain doesn't destroy that. But from that point onwards, I figured out that basically if it's raining, put your silage in your TMR mixer first, because silage doesn't decay and the silage will be loose at that point. Then add your hay, and as soon as you drop the hay bale into the wagon, it becomes loose forage. And then add your straw and it becomes loose TMR. But neither forage nor TMR decay, and silage doesn't decay either. So that was the way around it. I was watching one of Daggerwin's videos on Oakfield Farm when he played Seasons on 17. And again, he grabbed a couple of hay bales, took them out of the shed and drove round to the sheep field. And you could see, because he was using a standard bale fork, the hay started at 4,000 litres, and it was ticking down as he drove round the farm to the sheep field. He had to jump out the tractor, open the gate, get back in the tractor, and he'd lost 10-15 litres of the hay bale just jumping out and opening the gate. So that 4,000 litre hay bale ended up at somewhere in the region of about 3,800 litres by the time it dropped into the sheep feed trough. Now I don't think he noticed it, but it was something I was paying attention to. Okay, so we now want barley. Sweet, that's barley. So with the seasons prepared map, your bales and loose will decay if you leave them out of doors, but they should be safe if they're in undercover. But undercover is something that has a snow mask, which basically tells seasons this is a protected area, snow can't fall here, so you can't decay produce here. In a map that's not seasons prepared, bales are safe no matter where you put them. Yes, and I was finding that too, which is why I do what I call the mowing train, wherein I have a mower followed by a windrower. Whether the mower is attached to the front of a tractor and the windrower is following up behind, or whatever, or it's a second tractor hauling the windrower, and then another tractor with a baler and another tractor with the wrapper, and I stick them all on follow me, and for the most part my bales are mostly 4,000 litres. Occasionally one will be very slightly late and end up at 3,995. And if the wrapper misses one, then that's going to be significantly less than 3,990 litres. The other way around it would be to use the baler wrapper, the Kuhn one or the upcoming class 1, because the grass comes out the back, the grass gets wrapped immediately. There's no chance for the bale to decay, which kind of makes the Anderson X tractors a little tough, because you're always going to end up with small bales, because you have to pull them off the field and then stick them in the wrapper, and that's time that they're going to decay. Which is a bit of a shame. So I kind of like the Anderson stuff, but making bale caterpillars is possibly not going to be a thing you do often in seasons. And the other thing is it's very difficult to determine how much loose grass you lose on the field before you get the baler there. Now, on this map I'm not going to be using a 3-mower system because this tractor's not big enough. So I'll be using a front mower only, and I will be hauling a loading wagon behind, which means we will be able to see how much decay we suffer pulling the grass from the field to an unload point. Now, it's probably not going to be much because my grass field is out front of the yard, and my silos and silage clamps are not far from that field. But if I went and did the grass field over the other side of the river in that direction, I have to drive all the way back to the farm in order to get it somewhere safe. And we'll see basically how that works out. I plan to pull some grass up and stick it in the silos. I plan to pull some hay up and stick it in the silos, and I plan to pull some grass up and stick it in the silage bunkers, just using loading wagons. We're not going to be using did I not cultivate all of that in? Oh, that's annoying. This is a barley field. That's going to be wheat there. Should probably go and get the cultivator and replant that then. Now, if I had a bigger tractor and bigger fields, I might consider doing a 3-mower setup, or a big M. That windrows too. But everything I plan to do on this farm, at least for the first years, is going to be loose. Loose grass, loose hay, and then do some silage too. And we'll cut the grass, we'll load up the loading wagon, and then we'll see how much product we lose from it being 100% full to where we unload it. Then we have to see how much is destroyed in the silos. Because my current feeling is that the silos eliminate the physical presence of the product, so seasons can't see it. A silo is just a counter for you have 4,000 litres of wheat in this silo, but it's not 4,000 litres of wheat that the game sees as wheat. It's a counter. And then when you unload the silo into a wagon, then it becomes stuff that the game can see. But in answer to long-term maps, I don't think I have a preference for long-term maps at the moment. So we will see when we're ready to go which maps are also ready and picked up. I know Oxygen David is working on Lone Oak, but there's no guarantee that that's going to be ready when I'm ready, and so we'll have to see. It may be some other map we pick and say, okay, we'll go with this one. As it is, this map is generally behaving a lot better than most I've seen. There's some bad trees out there on some maps. This one doesn't seem to suffer from that problem. Okay, we got timing for that run. Okay. Now, while the windrowers destroy grass, they do not seem to destroy hay. So if you've got a couple of days clear and the ground and the grass is dry grass, it can take as little as 4 hours for grass to turn into hay. You can windrow hay and it doesn't get destroyed. At least that's what I saw on Farmer Klein's playthrough. His grass did get destroyed. The windrowers just deleted the outer areas that they covered. Although he was using a windrower on the grass and the rake on hay. So maybe the rake works, but the windrowers don't. I don't know. With Giant's testing schedule, and if the announcement that Oakfield was in testing, we should probably see Oakfield coming out maybe early next week as a season's ready map. I'm not sure if I want to do Oakfield though. It's a map I looked at briefly, but there's a lot of streamers and YouTubers that have done playthroughs on Oakfield recently. Landy Kid did it. I didn't watch any of that. Oh, I watched one of that series. Move forward. Daggerwind did a series in Oakfield, and then he's now restarted with a series at Oak Glen, which is the pig farm on Oakfield, using seasons, because he's managed to get the seasons ready map from Oxygen David, which I'm not going to be able to get hold of early. believe Alien Jim is working on a map called the Sussex map, which will be seasons ready when it's released. So that's what that seems to have been the announcement. But we'll take a look around and see what's out there. I may even do an American map as my seasons playthrough. So potentially Lone Oak, but any other map that happens to come available. Okay, so I missed. That's good. That wheat. Up there in the middle of my barley field. Okay, I mean that makes sense. What was it? Clutch was also doing an Oakfield map, and he's just quit that for County Line. He started yesterday, I believe. I think he's doing County Line with Seasons as well. Once again, not sure if that map is Seasons ready or whether he's just playing it with Seasons. I wasn't paying attention to what he was saying, because I watch a lot of videos while I'm working. But work sometimes gets rather intense, and so I don't have time to pay attention. So I'm getting the gist of what's going on, but not the intimate detail at times. And potentially, if the Seasons guy bring out an American Geo, I may look at an American map with cotton and sugarcane and the likes. Maybe not sugarcane. I found sugarcane to be distinctly boring as a crop, but possibly cotton. Although that John Deere harvester was a little on the pricey side. But then again, maybe that's not an issue, since typically the first year I'll usually rent harvesters anyway. So, along the edge here. Track over to the inside below that strip that just got cultivated. Now potentially that strip there is now two layers of fertilisation, because I just cultivated in some wheat. And the other thing we need to try is put down some preemptive herbicide, because I heard rumours that counts as a form of fertilisation. And it would be good to prove that on this playthrough. Okay, so we're coming up to 11 o'clock in the morning. We have at least the 3 fields we plan to plant already planted. So yeah, you can see there that got 2 layers of fertilisation, because I ripped up the wheat that was there, accidentally planted there. So this field I want to plant canola. this field I want to plant soybeans, but I have to cultivate the stuff. Fertilizing. I want to avoid fertilizing during the rain, so most of those jobs aren't going to be jobs we can do. We might as well. I guess there's nothing to stop us putting the canola in. The more planting we get done today, the less we have to do tomorrow. And we still, I mean, we've used less than half a day so far. Planting stuff is a lot faster than ploughing fields with a plough. I'm guessing I could probably have done the ploughing quicker if I'd used a subsoiler rather than a plough. But I haven't used a plough for the entire time we've been on FS19, so I figured it was time to use one. Plus it was only going to be a temporary thing. Okay, so canola. Hello? Oh. Let's turn it off. Let me see the canola. Nearly out of... Oh, we're nearly out of seed. Let's go top up the tank. MT9. Oh, right. The MT9 does not charge when you use it. Yes. How about the chainsaw? Like the auto-load bale trailers. Yes. Yes, like the auto-load bale trailers. If you put a bale, even on doesn't have to be an auto-loader. Baling. These trailers put images of bales on the back. They're not real bales. These as well. You're putting bale images on the back of a trailer, and so they're not real as far as the game is concerned. And that was something we found with Oxygen David's and Bullet Bill's field hedges. They modified the hedges so that you can drive through a hedge, but a bale can't roll through a hedge. And so if you had spent ages stacking bales on the back of a trailer with front loader, and then strapped them down and went hell-bent for leather right at the hedge, your tractor would come to a screeching halt. The tractor would go through the hedge. The front of the trailer with the bales on it would hit the edge of that hedge, and you would come to a jolting stop. Quite impressive. And we first found that on, I believe it was Culborough Park Farm, second edition, that they did that too. Because the problem with Culborough Park Farm, it had some wicked hills, and the bales were constantly rolling away and ending up 3 or 4 fields from where you made them. If not in the middle of the street, you'd be driving down and round a corner and there's a bale in the middle of the road. So they put in a script that basically prevented bales going through hedges. But if you used either a UAL auto-load trailer or one of the mechanical pickup trailers, those could drive through those hedges because the bales on the back were images of bales. They weren't physical bale objects as far as the game was concerned. Okay, canola, flour.